making money is more fulfilling than like having family.
No, that's not what I said at all. I would actually argue that you're more materialistic than I am. I don't really have like an issue or like a desire to buy labels.
Oh,
I would say that at this point, I had a long-term relationship. There are other things that I want to do. I would like to travel. I would like to take classes. Like, I don't know why you don't
why
ask
would a
those questions and
relationship
you just
prevent
make those
you from
assumptions.
traveling? Why would a relationship prevent you from taking classes and traveling?
Because obviously it's a time investment, and so I want to invest my time. I'm already spread thin as it is between my job, being a parent, managing my household, my other relationships with my friends and family. And at this time, I just don't have an active interest.
What's your question?
So tell me, if you have like such great insights into relationships, how come you haven't been able to maintain one long term?
When did I say that I had great insights to relationships?
Well, I feel that's what your channel is,
No, I
correct?
didn't ask
Like,
you what you. I didn't ask you what you felt. I asked you for an objective opinion, an objective piece of data, not a subjective opinion. When did I say I had great insights toward relationships? When did that ever come out of my mouth?
I don't have a time and date of when those
So you don't
exact
have a time
words
and date
left.
because it
Wait,
doesn't.
you asked me a
You don't.
question.
You don't have a time and date because it doesn't exist. So go ahead and ask your
Sean,
question.
is your content, is your presence here on social media because you are portraying yourself as a business and relationship guru, master, expert?
I am definitely not a dating coach because if I was a dating coach, this is how it would be. If you're not making $20,000 a month, stop dating. Get off the Tinder. That would be my dating advice to guys. Stop it.
So,
If you can't lead yourself to success, you can't lead your family to success.
so yesterday you said that poly relationships are better than monogamous ones.
1,000%.
Based on what?
Based on everything. The truth, the authenticity, the transparency, the depth. Who wants to be in a relationship where you look at a girl and your significant other gets mad for a week?
I don't think that's a reflection of monogamous relationships.
That's exactly how monogamous relationships be going. Come on. You open the door for the girl and the girl say thank you. Your girl gonna be mocking you. Thank you for the rest of the week. Thank you.
I'm not at all. I would, no, not at all. I would say that's like a depiction of insecure relationships. But in my, what?
I said I agree with that.
But if you are in a secure monogamous relationship, then you have trust in your partner. Your partner can be polite to people who are of the opposite sex, and that doesn't have an effect on you. So again, what is better about polygamous or polyamorous relationships versus monogamous?
The truth, the transparency, and to be completely honest with you, a man is allowed to stay in his instincts, and when his instincts are in, he will achieve greater things and greater levels of success.
So I feel like that really wasn't an answer. Like truth and transparency is so vague, that wasn't anything specific. And then what do you mean by
If it was
instincts?
specific, you're just not a man, and you don't know what man instincts are, so you would not be able to relate to it. That's the only thing.
Oh,
That's the
well,
only
maybe
thing.
you can tell me.
I did try to tell you, but okay. So there's 3 reasons why people don't learn. And number 2 is a lack of mass. It's like trying to explain the color orange to somebody that's blind. Watch this. If I'm blind, explain to me what the color orange looks like.
Oh,
Like
okay.
explain the color orange to somebody that's blind. I'm
So
blind.
I'm not asking you to give me a comparison.
Somebody
I'm not.
in the comments, if you can explain to me what the color orange looks like and I'm blind, I'll pay you $100. All right, seems like nobody can do it. Can you explain to me what the color orange looks like if I'm blind? I never seen.
I think that's irrelevant to the conversation because I'm asking you.
Here's the thing.
One second. I'm asking you what male instinct does a polygamous.
I'm gonna let you go. Go ahead.
What male instinct does a polygamous relationship fulfill?
Continue to pursue women, to procreate with as many women as possible. That is a male's instinct.
It is. I see. So why are there men who are monogamous?
They've been programmed that way. Literally, monogamy just depends on where you were brought up. The same as religion. If you're raised in the United States, you'll probably be Christian or Jewish or Catholic. If you were raised in a different part of the world, guess what? You're probably going to be raised a Muslim if you're raised in like the Middle East. So like, just because it's something that's like a cultural norm or a social norm doesn't undo like biology, 5,000 years of biology.
It's not an instinct.
It is an instinct.
Because if it were an instinct, it would happen regardless of social conditioning.
Okay. So if this is the case, what is the purpose of intimacy? Like the physical act of like two people getting it on and doing that adult thing. What is the purpose behind it? What's the biological purpose?
Well, I would say the purpose of it is for connection and psychological well-being.
You don't think the primary purpose of it is to reproduce?
I think that is a outcome of intercourse. No, but I would argue that more people have sex for emotional. Wait. Just let me finish this point, and then I swear I'm done. I would argue that more people have sex for emotional connection and psychological well-being than they do to have children. I have a child, and I have never had sex getting pregnant.
It's about biological. I think
that does not undo the primary motive behind two people getting it on.
It does.
Which is to reproduce. That is literally what it's supposed to be for, to reproduce. That is the primary.
Do you have children, Sean?
So check this out. Other animals do it strictly to reproduce, not for fun, to reproduce. That is that. What is the point that I'm making?
Right. So that's a very dehumanizing. Do you want me to respond or no?
Excuse me.
Sure.
So when women, the way the Most High, again, the Most High, you guys get up here and talk about religion, and this is the way the Most High designed it. When a woman gets pregnant, guess what? She stops releasing eggs. When a man gets a woman pregnant, he can turn around and go get another woman pregnant. Why is that? Why does the woman stop releasing eggs, but the guy, his sperm still works? Everything on him still works. Because if he was designed to be with one woman, then his parts would not work if that woman was pregnant. If he was only supposed to get her pregnant, based on the design of the Most High, his parts would not work.
Are you familiar with what a logical fallacy is, Sean?
I've heard the term, but go ahead and educate it.
A logical fallacy is a fault in logic, and when one that you just did is an appeal to nature. So because something happens in nature, therefore it means this.
You didn't define it.
The
only thing I did was 2 + 2 = 4. If that was, you're saying that that's untrue, then sure, it's untrue. But to me, it just sounds like somebody that's arrogant and feels like their opinion is more important than the way the Most High designed it. And I just disagree with that. You're sitting up here trying to
that's just projection there, Sean. That's just projection.
Here's the truth. No, it's not projections. It's the truth. Here is what it is. You're a woman, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm a man, and you can't tell me how to be a man because you've never been one. You have insights for a relationship, but they don't even work for you. You don't have one, so it doesn't make sense.
Well, I could argue, number one, they don't work for you.
Listen, you are very educated, but you have no validity in this conversation. And clearly you feel like your opinion is the only thing that matters. So I don't really see how we're going to have an intellectual conversation.
So no, let me address that really quick. So I'm very interested in having an intellectual conversation. Like this is what my platform is I do discuss ideas where I am challenged. But when you make those conclusions based off what you observe in nature, I could make similar conclusions and just say, well, we only really need a few men to keep the population going. Where women clearly are the divine, a reflection of a creator, are amazing. So I think women should run the world and we should keep a very low population of men because women are kinder, they are more nurturing, they aren't violent. We really don't need a lot of men. And I'm sure that would be a conclusion that you would disagree with, correct?
I agree, but I disagree. I'm not saying we should just get rid of men because that's like crazy. But I don't think every man should be allowed
But I could just point to biology and say that's how I've come to this conclusion.
Excuse me.
You're excused.
I agree, but I also disagree because to get rid of men, but I do think I do think women should be a privilege and not a right. I don't think every man deserves a wife. I know when I got married, I didn't deserve to even be around women, much less touch one, much less smell one. I think women are the ultimate privilege on this planet and not a right. I don't think every man deserves a husband. I don't think just because you're a man or you're born, you deserve a wife. I think you should have to earn a wife. And I think you should prove that by leading yourself to success. Because if you can't lead your family to success. But the truth is this, if we didn't have a lot of men when stuff went wrong, I mean, men are used for very important jobs. For instance, like if you are burning in a building, you're probably going to want a big, strong man to come and save you. If something's happening to you in the middle of the night, I don't think you want the biggest, strongest police officer to show up. As soon as something happens, where something needs to be fixed, they need there. Think about it. When you take your car to the mechanic, it's not saying women can't be mechanics, but guys are typically better at that. I mean, everything that is built significantly is built by a man. This app was created by a man. This phone was created by a man. So I don't think that you should be like, oh, men we should get rid of them. I mean, they invent most things. Most of these jobs that women are working at are all companies that were started by men. So I do think men are very, very violent.
So can I address that?
Excuse me, give me 20 seconds. Let me land my plane. But I don't think every guy should be allowed to reproduce. That's just my 2 cents.
Okay, so you said a lot. The point that I was trying to make is that when I
give me 10 seconds. These guys said I'm a misogynist. This woman just said that men shouldn't even be on the planet. So it's okay for women to say that men shouldn't be on the planet, but it's wrong for me to say that men are useful. Are y'all serious right now?
BFF.
Bro, are y'all serious right now? I'm misogynist. Privilege. Misogyny means hating of women. I just said that they are a privilege and they should be cherished and protected. That's the exact opposite of misogynistic. Y'all just be using words y'all don't even know the definition. Go ahead. I'm talking about the comments, by the way, not you. I'm talking about the comments. Go ahead.
Sure. So the point I was trying to make by saying I think women should run the world, I don't think we should have very few men, is I was saying that I can draw my conclusions off of base of how I see biology is constructed, which is why this is a logical fallacy, because we can come up with a variety of outcomes based on biology, which is why it's a logical fallacy. I don't hold that premise. I was showing you how ridiculous it sounds to make premises based off of nature, because nature has no morality.
Well,
One second, I just want to make sure I address all your points, because you said more than a few. When it comes to the way that you described our current structure, you have to acknowledge that there has been a patriarchal social, economic, and government system where women were predominantly excluded from that. So to say that we owe men something because they haven't included us in the process, I find to be very patriarchal. And then I would also argue that what you defined as misogyny is a very elementary idea. And that misogyny is actually the desire to control women. And it also comes from a patriarchal system that put men in a dominant position and women in a submissive position. And a lot of what you described is you in a dominant position and women in a submissive position.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
When women and men are intimate, is the woman in the dominant position or the submissive position?
I think it can depend on the relationship.
No, it doesn't depend on the relationship. Who's entering?
Of course it does.
Who's the one that's bending over?
What do you think dominatrix are?
Excuse me. Who is the one that is bent over and opening their body in a vulnerable position? The woman or the man?
I would argue that that's not vulnerable because, like, who has their testicles exposed where I could kick them?
Listen, see, this is the thing. You talk about logical fallacies, and now you're saying that the man is not dominant when in a dominant position. Are you serious? If you can't,
what do you think a dominatrix is?
Nobody said anything about a dominatrix. I just asked about a simple position, plain old missionary. Who is the dominant? Who is in the submissive position?
I guess because he's on top. Are you going to say he's dominant?
Bro, you can put the girl on top and she's still in a submissive position. She's still taking something.
What makes it submissive?
Listen, at this point, you got it, bro. Because if you just are sitting up here saying that women are in a dominant position when they're intimate, I just don't even want to have this conversation. Like, it just proves the level of
why? Like, why can't you engage?
You can't even agree that 2 + 2 is 4. This is dumb and it's not going anywhere. I'm no longer interested in the conversation.
So I think you
to Olivia because I'm done.
Olivia, do you think within your relationship you are submissive?
Yes.
Can you tell me what the benefits?
You were submissive when you had them kids. You were submissive when you was laying down to get pregnant. And if you don't know,
I thought you weren't talking to me.
Then that's a you problem. This conversation is over. See ya.
Figures.
It doesn't figure. You can't answer the question because you don't want to be wrong. Guys, submission is not a bad thing. Ladies, be submissive to your guy, but don't be submissive to every guy. Find a guy that you feel like is worth it. See, this is what they try to do. They try to trick you into being a man, into trying to be a man. Why would you guys have the greatest gift, which is the gift to bring life into this world, and y'all want to try to be a man? That makes no sense. All of us are here because of a woman submitted to a man and laid down and had a baby and brought life into this planet. And people like that want to sit up here and act like that's a bad thing. Bro. Y'all can sit up here and say whatever, but if we can't have a conversation of 2 + 2 = 4, what are we doing? It's ridiculous. It doesn't even make no sense, man. And y'all know it don't make no sense. And this is why I say people like to they do what's right. I mean, it's about who's right versus what's right. People just say stuff that makes absolutely no sense. And y'all saying Kinsey for president, that's wow.
Sheesh.
Somebody said this, Shanice, take your shirts too. Boom, 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 boom. What's this?
I don't know, my Jane.
Here, we'll see y'all going live on my Instagram. Peace.